Howdy, Possum Patty here, and I'm junk journaling. Look at this pile of material. These were all Vera Bradley pocketbooks. I used to buy my Vera Bradley pocketbooks slightly used at the flea market. I'd throw them in the wash machine and then use them for a couple years. But you know, they tend to wear out along the bottom. Sometimes they get holes in the corners and sometimes the handles get a little bit frayed. So I used these pretty much until they started looking really worn, and then I just threw them in the closet, not knowing what to do with them. Well, the other day, I took several of them out and I tried to deconstruct them. So now I have all this fun quilted material, and I think I'm going to try to make a few mini journals out of them, because I think these are going to make really good journal covers. So I'm going to go through here and cut out a couple pieces to make some covers and see what I can come up with. I'll be right back. Well, this definitely isn't a tutorial because I haven't figured out yet what I'm doing myself. But let me just show you what I've done so far. I found enough material to make 2 squares, and these are about 5 inches square. A little bit more than 5 inches square. So I made 2 of those, and I decided I wanted the reverse side of the material. This was the inside of the pocketbook to be the outside of the journal. So that's going to be the cover. And the outside of the pocketbook is actually going to be the inside of the journal. I've started working on the spine, and I took this material from a different pocketbook. And this is what you used to find at the bottom of the Vera Bradley pocketbooks, was this piece of cardboard, and it had this sleeve of material on it, and you could slip the cardboard out when you washed the pocketbook and then put it back in again so you can get it nice and clean. I thought this was a little too thick for a spine, so I slipped the material off of it and I cut this piece to fit, and I just sewed it to the front of the cover. I think this is going to be like a Shabby Chic. And then I sewed one more piece on, and what I'm going to do is cut a lighter piece of cardboard. I still have all these pieces on my table here. This is Drake's Coffee Cakes. I think I'll glue this in here just to make it's stiffer but not as heavy as the other cardboard, and then I'll sew this back over the top of that somehow. Okay, I'm going to work on that process. I put the piece of cardboard in there, and then I just glued this other piece of material over it. And so far, it's really, really wonky. But that's okay. We'll see how it turns out. So that'll be the front cover, and that'll be the back cover, and that'll be the spine. Well, I played with the cover all day yesterday, and this is what I came up with. I added some lace from some old lingerie and a piece of ribbon. I think this came on like a box of candy or something. And then this polka dotted ribbon that I got the other day on sale at Michael's. This was only $2.97 for like 8 rolls of ribbon. Really good bargain. Regular was like $16.99. And then I was looking around in my button box. Before I get rid of old clothes, I like to cut off the buttons, and I save them. And I found these 3 little heart buttons, so I added them on. And I found this big button with a heart on it, so I put it over here. And I layered up this lace that I bought at the Dollar Tree store with a bit of this pink fabric that I found down in the basement in the fabric bin. Some more of this bright pink ribbon underneath there. And then I took some material from the pocketbook that was on the pocket on the inside, so it's not quilted like this is, so I made a little ruffle. And then on the back I put some more of that lace. This was from a slip or something. And then some more of the Dollar Tree ribbon, again the fabric and the candy box ribbon, and another ruffle. Now this material came from a different pocketbook where I made the spine. I think what I'm going to do is just put a ribbon that wraps around these two buttons for the closure when I get that far. So now I'm working on the inside. So far I've just put one layer of lace on both sides of the spine. And because I did so much sewing on the front, I'm thinking of something to cover up these stitches. Although it's not, I mean, you don't have to do that, but I'm looking at some more of this material with the pink hearts maybe around the edge to kind of finish this off. Oh, and one more thing on the front. This was some more lace trim that was on an old slip. And I put that across the bottom and across the top. I didn't measure very well, so it's a little wonky, but I guess that's what makes it shabby. Shabby chic. Okay, this was the outside of the pocketbook, and this was the inside of the pocketbook, but I used the inside for the outside of the cover. And now, like I said, I'm looking for something to put over here. Oh, and when I was looking at the old buttons, I found these vintage labels. I think I bought these in probably 1974 maybe. And they say, specially handmade by Patricia. And I got about 4 or 5 of those, so I was going to put one of those labels on the inside cover and something around the edge on the front and the back. So I'm going to go through my stash here and I'll let you know what I come up with. So the inside of my journal is finished. I wanted to sort of carry over some of the elements from the outside of the cover to the inside. So I used this pink heart fabric that I have here, and I made a border around the edge to cover up some of the sewing. And then I just put a little rectangle there with my handmade by Patricia. I did add some sparkly ribbon to both ends. And on the back cover, I did some slow stitching. And I did a little square, and I put a little green heart. This is from an old pair of pants. The square is from the pocketbook. And a little tiny pink bow on top of the heart, because I like all the different layers. And there you have it. Now I have to make some pages to fit in here. And they're probably going to be about 4.5 by 4.5. Now the question is though, while I have all this mess on my table, should I go ahead and make another cover before I start making the pages? Okay, I'll have to make a decision about that. So thanks for coming along today. Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye now.